Just to clarify, maybe some workmates from Bitergia are joining the session, so maybe you will see appearing some people here, just in case.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, feel free to share your screen and get started. So.
Sure. Let me check. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, fine, perfect. What maybe? Okay, that's better. Okay, so we can start now. Okay, so well, first of all, thank you for joining us today for this second session and for taking for leading the initiative of having this session. What we are covering here is how to create visualizations and your own dashboards. And well, we're going to, oh, let me check. Okay, I'm here. Okay, so let's start. This is the outline. This is basically what is going on the back end of the platform. Basically, this is Manrique, our CEO, is trying to build the visualizations and collect the visualizations to build the panels. So what we are going to do is to learn how to make these visualizations to make things more easy. Here is Manrique fighting against closed source software. And then basically what we're going to cover is this, right? First, it's to covering this Kibana editor, the editing part of your dashboard. Then how to create visualizations and searches from scratch. And then with those visualizations and searches, we can create custom dashboards, okay? So first of all, we are deeping into the Kibana editor. So first of all, for access this editable part of the dashboard, I'm moving here to the dashboard itself. You need to log in first. So we remind you that you have to log in first with your credentials, and you will see here an edit button, right? So if you click on it, you will see some parts of the dashboard are changing, right? For example, you see these gear icons here in the top right corner. So if we click on cancel, we exit from this view. So for example, I'm going to Git panel, for example, and then I'm going to click in this edit button, right? Okay, so what can we do in this editor? So we can rearrange and rename some widgets, right? We can edit, we can add and create new visualizations, we can modify searches, and of course, at the end, we can build our own panels, right? So this is what we're going to see now. Let me close this Slack thing. Okay. Okay, so we are covering these main components about Kibana editor. You will see, if we are in the editable part, you will see that this hand icon, we can rearrange different widgets in the dashboard, right? We can also enlarge them and shrink them, and we can also edit them by clicking on this gear icon. You can see this edit visualization option, and also we can rename the widget itself. Here in customized, you will see in this case is JIT. We can write our own name for this widget, okay? Okay, so let's start with the main components of what we are going to cover in this session. First of all, we are talking about the index patterns, which is how the data is organized here in the dashboard, because the data is stored in a Elasticsearch database, and Elasticsearch manages that data into indexes, right? And we have at least one index for each data source we are tracking for you. And then we can create index patterns, which basically are views for that data created from those indexes. Okay, from that data we can create searches, and on top of that, or directly on the index patterns, we can create the visualizations and then finally build the dashboards. So the first sections we are going to cover here is the discover section. Okay. So if we go to your dashboard, again on the editable version of the dashboard, you will see here the discover section. Okay. And if we go here, we have a list. Okay, it's loading. We have a list here of the indexes we have in your dashboard. So for example, I'm in Git, right? So we can see which fields are composing this index, right? This is useful to explore because we need to know which fields are available in each index to create the visualizations, okay? In this case, you can add some fields. You see with the add button, you will see that data is organized in columns, right? And I'm adding another one. In this case, let me check for repo name. And you can filter also using this magnifying glass here. I'm going on top of the page. You will see here a filter has been created. Okay, so this is more than a exploratory section to know where should we start from. Okay, about the index patterns, I don't know if my workmate Alberto may complete a little bit more about these index patterns.
Well, maybe just saying that index patterns allow you to configure the different formats of the fields. For instance, if you have a date, you can go to the index pattern and configure how the date is shown in the dashboard. Or if you have a string, you can go there and configure if you need to do some basic operations on top of this string. You can also add some scripted fields. The scripted fields are fields that you can dynamically create in Kibana. So they are not actually in the index, they are computed on the fly. And sometimes this can be useful, sometimes it can be a problem for you because maybe it slows down the processing, but just know that there are these options there, so you can go there and play with the index patterns. And basically, Miguel Angel said that index patterns are views of information. That's true, but also searches are views of information because in searches, you can select, you can filter some data, and then you can save that search, as we will see later, and use the search to build visualizations on top. So it's kind of a view of the data. And if you need to modify the whole panel and your panel is built on top of searches, you just need to modify the search. You don't need to go visualization per visualization, applying modifications. And that's all on my side about index patterns.
Yes, I forgot to mention that you can also unfold any of these items.
We like it, but yeah.
It seems I'm here again, so our apologies for.
No.
I don't know what happened, but well.
Yeah, I think something's wrong with Zoom right now. We're talking about, but I don't think it's your fault. So go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about this. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah.
No worries. Ray, I think we should start recording again. Perhaps I don't see the meeting recording.
It's recording still. I don't think it's stopped. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see now. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's start. I was telling you that you can unfold the items in the Discover section. I don't know if you, if you were able to hear me before I disconnected.
I think this is where we got disconnected. So.
Okay, fine, perfect. Okay, so let's start with the next section, which is modifying and creating these dashboards. So just to clarify, we are going to remind, this is just a matter of naming, right? So each of these little items which are composing this panel, we call them widgets, right? And a set of widgets compound a panel, right? I'm clarifying this because Kibana calls a panel a dashboard, and we call a dashboard as a set of panels, right? So just to make this distinction, okay? And okay, so a panel is made of many visualizations, which can be renamed, can be added, but also removed and rearranged and also edited. The dashboards also can be saved and retrieved. You can export also a given dashboard and import it again. And you can filter the information in the dashboard, okay? And you can save those filters. I think you already know that because of the contents we covered in the first session. So let's go to the visualizations and searches part.
Miguel Angel, just a quick question before we move on.
Yes, tell me.
Would you mind going back to slide 11 in terms of search saving? Thank you.
Sure.
So when you're saying saving filters, I know that we can create a direct link and a short URL for that, and that's how we've been saving filters right now. Is there any other way to save filters? Because what I noticed is that when you change dashboard, for instance, or where someone else opens the URL, then those filters are no longer there.
Yes, that's right. When you apply a filter in a dashboard, well, I'm going to the dashboard itself. You can see it. For instance, these are, okay. Someone is not muted. Okay, thank you. As you can see, there are two filters here, right? Which are not empty commits and not bots. Those filters are saved into the dashboard. So every time you enter here in the overview panel, you always will see these filters, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we mean with saving filters. If you access a given dashboard, a given panel, sorry, and you perform a filter, for example, for a given organization or a given repository, right? You will see the filter applied here, and you can save this dashboard, and you will store this filter.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. That's a
and
good one.
Okay, and we will talk about this later, but you can save this as a new dashboard. And as for example, you are interested in this panel, but for a given milestone or for a given repository, and you can select, for example, you can save the dashboard as Git panel for milestone, whatever, for instance.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we needed. Thanks.
Okay, let's continue. We were talking about searches. So as my workmate Alberto mentioned before, you can filter in the Discover section, and those will be, you can save those filter as a search. And with that searches, you can build visualizations, okay? And this, the applications for this is basically the same as I was mentioning. If you are interested in some particular repository or milestone or whatever other field, you can search first and then build the visualization, okay? And okay, so this is a visualization, and you will see in the left-hand side, this is the menu we use to build the visualization, okay? So let's focus on how to build this from scratch, okay? First thing to notice here, and there are two sections, which are metrics and buckets. So important thing here is to understand which is a bucket and which is a metric, okay? So basically, Kibana organizes the data in buckets, which basically are subsets of the whole set of data you have, okay? And then metrics are that is a metric, something that you can count or something that you can compute as a sum or a average or a median, for example. Okay. For instance, well, as I told you, you can build the visualizations based on a given index pattern or in a search, as I told you. And there are different kinds, and we are covering how to build this. As a quick recap, data is organized in metrics and buckets, and also they can be saved and retrieved and also edited. We are including some basic visualizations which are included in the standard version of Kibana, but we are also including some visualizations that are not coming in the standard version of Kibana, which are made by our workmate David Moreno, right? So we have, for instance, a dot plot here, the polar and radar visualizations, the network plugin also, and a modification of the data table in Kibana by adding a search box on the top of the table. Okay. So now, what are we going to do now? So we are creating a custom dashboard by creating each of these visualizations. So in this case, we have created for you a custom panel trying to cover a specific use case, which is measuring efficiency closing GitLab issues. Okay. And you can see here several visualizations. Well, first thing to note here is that we have not tried to build the best panel possible we can make about efficiency, but to include one example of each visualization and different kinds of visualizations and how to build them. We have built efficiency panels for instance, for JIT or for JRIT, and hopefully coming soon, there are coming panels specifically for GitLab issues and merge requests. And so what we are trying to cover here is how to build these visualizations in order to allow you to build your own dashboard. So you can see we have built this dashboard for you. We will share the link later. And this is the panel basically, and we are covering how to make these visualizations. Again, you can enter here and play with it. If you click every year icon, you will see how this is, how each visualization is made, and this is what we are going to do now. I don't know if Alberto wants to add something.
Yeah, yes, I wanted to say that you can go to dashboard and search for a demo, and you will search for this panel. There, you can do it, please, Miguel Angel, just to show how to get to the panel. So we are going to build the visualization from scratch, but you can play with the existing visualization in the meanwhile, just to see how the visualizations are built and try to modify things to get some ideas you may have in mind. So, well, this is the panel. And maybe, Miguel Angel, you can show the panel we have in pre-production in Blue 6, just to show, this is the efficiency panel that Miguel Angel mentioned before. This panel is the standard one we are distributing for GitHub and Gerrit, and is quite simple. This is the idea of the new panels, and this is what you can expect to have in your dashboard. I think it will be soon, so just to get you have an overview of what an efficiency panel means for us. But anyway, you can build your own panel, or you can suggest changes or whatever, as always, and we can work with you to define the panel you may need.
Okay, thank you, Alberto. So let's continue. Okay, so again, we have these screenshots in the slides that also will be available for you, just in case you want to see how these visualizations were built. Just in case you want to play, we have used the same parameters and so on. So we are covering, for example, the first one is the metric visualization, which is the first one. As you can see, it may look very simple, but basically it is built as every other visualization, right? So this is for getting big numbers at a quick glance. And if we select here on edit visualization, we are going to this section. And as you can see, there are two metrics here, which are the count, as we are here is the name of the index we are extracting the data from, which in this case is the GitLab index, which is the one which contains the GitLab issues data. So the count here is the number of issues, is the number of elements of the index. And the second metric is a median about the field time open days. Okay, and again, you can select custom labels here to add to your visualization. Okay, in this case, you will build the visualization, and then you will click on save and write the name you want. Okay, in case you are creating a new visualization from a pre-existing one, you can perform any changes you may want here, and you write your new title, and you select this checkbox of save as new visualization. If not, Kibana is going to overwrite the existing visualization. Okay. Okay, I'm going back to the panel here. Okay. Now we are going to see how to build this GOTS metric here. So this is pretty interesting. This is one of the most recent visualizations that was included in the last version of Kibana. So basically, it contains a metric which is time open days, right? And here in options, you can define the ranges. You will see different colors. You can define also those colors. So you can define a threshold, well, in this case, two thresholds or more for measuring time open days, and automatically the GOTS will fill up to that measurement. Also, you have here some color options and some styles options. Okay. Yes, Alberto, please.
Yes, I just wanted to say that this is useful if you have some specific KPIs. So you have the numbers you want to achieve. So you can use this kind of visualization with colors to know if in a given period of time you are far away of your KPIs or if you are just accomplishing your goals.
Okay, thank you, Alberto. Okay, in this case, we are building from scratch a vertical bar chart, and in this case, I'm creating the visualization from scratch. So how would you do this? So you click on visualize here in the editing version of the dashboard. Okay, and you will see this add button here, and then next is selecting the visualization type. In this case, well, you will see there's a lot of them. In this case, we are selecting the vertical bar chart here. And next step is selecting the index we want to use for this visualization. As I told you, we are selecting the GitLab one, which is containing the issues. Okay. Okay. And then what we have to do is define the axis, right? The y-axis will be the number of issues. So I'm writing here number of issues, right? And then we are bucketizing. The x-axis will be a date histogram, okay? The field we use is the grimoire creation date, which is the standard field we use for the creation date of the element across all the data sources. So this is the field that you may want to use if you are using anything related with time series. And the interval, you can select a certain interval. We just leave out, okay? And here we can write time. And then we click on play, and you will see that the chart is created here. And for example, we can create a new bucket. We can bucketize this information. We can split this information with one more dimension. In this case, we are including the information about the state of the issue, if it is open or closed. So we click on split series and we select an aggregation here. You have to select terms here, and you will see the different fields as you have seen in the Discover section before. In this case, the field we are looking for is state. And then, well, the size is the number of elements of we want to bucketize for. Imagine, for example, for instance, a state has two different states, and if we had, for instance, organizations, we could limit the number of organizations that would appear in this chart. Okay, so in this case, the custom label is state, and then again we click on apply changes, and you will see now two different sections here, closed and open. And again, you can, in your dashboard, you can filter this information, or either you can add the filter here, and it will be saved with the search itself. Okay. And then you will click on save, write your title, and then click on save. And then you will have the same widget that you have in the efficiency panel we have built for you. I'm going back to it. Okay, here we are. Okay, this is the one. Okay. Okay, for creating this pie chart, again, I go to visualize, I click on this plus button, and then I look for the pie chart. This is the one. Again, I select the index. Well, as you can see here, sorry about that, you can build the visualization from a saved search. Okay, this is the thing we are using in this case, index. Okay, and then we have here the count, which are again the number of issues. And then we split slices of the pie. And in this case, we want to split by organization. So this is the right field for it. And if we apply the changes, you will see what here we can include this label also. Okay, that's right. Okay. And then, for instance, we're going to see how to create a table like this one. I remind you, I don't know if I think we have covered this issue in our last session, but you can export this data of every widget into a CSV file. You will see here an arrow here, for instance, and you will see all data in those widgets are tables in Kibana basically. So you can export the data as you can see here. Same for evolutionary graph here. You can export this data, okay? Okay, oops. Well, we have created the pie chart. I don't know if we should create the table or go directly to timeline. Well, I think we have time for it, so we are creating the data table, which is very similar to the other visualizations we have built. In this case, we have the basic number, which is the count of elements of the index. Again, number of issues. And in this case, we are splitting the table. We are adding more columns here. And in this case, we are using the field repository. And you can see the number of issues per repository. If you wanted to add another bucket here, oops, okay, for instance, we could add here the state, for instance. How many of these issues are open and how many are closed in this case, for instance. Okay, and then we are going to see how to build these kind of time series visualizations. And please, Alberto, explain us how to build these visualizations.
Thanks. Well, these visualizations are based on timeline. I think I told you in the first session, it's pronounced timeline, even though it's written timeline. So don't ask me why. I cannot answer that question, but it's what it is. And the idea here is with timeline, you can track items in time. And the different thing about timeline compared to the other charts is that you can compute things in a given point of the chart, in a given point of time. That means that we can do things like computing VMI, which is the number of closed things divided by the number of open things. In this case, we are talking about issues. This is the VMI, the Backlog Management Index. And the tricky thing with timeline is that we need to know how to write the right expression to achieve this goal. But if you can go, please, Miguel Angel, to the slide, the next slide. The expression is something like this. So the part which is in bold here tells timeline to perform a search in Elasticsearch on top of the index GitLab and based on the time field, close that. As we are not defining any query and we are not defining any metric as a parameter in this particular function, what we are doing is counting things based on closed that field. That means in each point of the line, which is probably a week or a month, or depending on the configuration we use, count things based on those dates. That is, how many things, how many issues were closed at that date. And then, please, next slide, Miguel Angel. What we are going to do is chaining the divide function. This function allows us to divide the number of things that were closed at a given point of time by another number. And this number is the result of a different expression, which is again a search on the GitLab index, but this time based on time field more creation date, which means count things that were open at that point of time. So we are dividing the things that were closed by the things that were open for each point of time in the chart. And finally, we change the label, which is VMI, and it's just the label we are going to see in the chart. And the next slide, please, Miguel Angel, is the trend. So basically in green, we have the same we have above, and then we change the trend function. The trend function computes the trend. And finally, the label, in this case, VMI trend. So with this expression, we can build the chart. If you can, please, yes, edit the chart, the visualization. You can see here that in the left-hand side, we have the expression. And with that expression, you can build the chart. If you play with this expression, you will see that below the text field appears the help. So if you are typing whatever function, then you have the help just below to know what this function does and what the parameters are available for that function and the types of those parameters and the default values and so on. It's not straightforward, but it's not as difficult as it could seem because the functions are the same you can use in other visualizations. The different thing is that here you can use different time fields for the queries, and you can chain functions combining different metrics in this case. So always you need to compute something with different metrics. The way to do it is going to the timeline and trying to find the expression you need. And timeline is quite flexible, so you can also use bar charts instead of lines. You can change colors. You can do some complex things, but at the end of the day, you can have very useful charts that are not available using the other standard Kibana visualization. And this one that Miguel Angel is showing us is the lead time, which is the average time we need to close things. So the difference in expression, if you look at the cursor in the screen, is the query part in the function. The query part here is saying that search for all items which state is closed. So in this case, we are looking only to close things because lead time is based on the closed at field, date field, but also in computing the average time to close days. So if we don't filter by state, we will compute the average for all items and not only for those which state is closed. So, well, and in this case, we are also changing the color just to show you that there are not only functions to compute things, there are also functions to modify the style of the chart. This is one of the easier ones, but you have a lot of them.
Okay, so again, last kind of visualization, we haven't included this visualization in the efficiency panel, but anyway, just one more non-standard visualization we wanted to show you is the dot plot. And the particularity of this visualization is that you can add metrics for both axes, because in Kibana, you cannot add two different metrics to both axes. Basically, you can select one metric for a given axis and the other one is for a bucket. Okay, so in this case, you can compare one metric against another. In this case, we are selecting the median time open days and we are packetizing by the repository. So you can see here two stream cases, right? So you can see one big orange dot, which means that as it is on the left, the median time open days is very low, and the number of elements is very high. So many elements are being closed, have been open few days, okay? And the opposite case is the GitLab EE repository, which are fewer number of elements, but the time open days, this time is longer than the other. The size of the dot in this case is related with the number of contributors in every repository. So basically, that's how it's built. You can play with it again, clicking on visualizations and selecting the dot plot. And okay, some final remarks here. We would like to remind you that you can create your own dashboards with your own panels. Again, okay, you write the title for the panel. You can write also the description, and it is important to check this Save as New Dashboard. If you only want to rename the dashboard, you only write the new name, and you unselect this checkbox, and then click on Save. Okay. Also,
Miguel,
sorry.
Yeah, no, just a quick question. So when you create
Sure.
a new dashboard, I guess it'll just show up as a new menu item on the left-hand side, right? Is that correct? Or
no, it is not. at the moment you save a new dashboard,
Yeah.
you will see it if you click on here on edit, right? You will see this dashboard menu, okay?
Okay.
So you access this menu and then the new panel will be here, okay? If you want to include that panel in the menu, please let us know, and we can treat that, and it will be available because we are including a new menu. Well, hopefully it will be deployed during this week, and these few days you will see the new menu. So we are kind of changing the way we are managing that. So the idea is to have these panels in the new menu available for you. Oh, sorry, Alberto.
Yes, just summarizing the things about the menu. Currently, you need to ask us about including the panel in the menu because we need to modify it manually. But with the new menu, the idea is you can tweak your own menu. So once the new menu is in your dashboard, the next step is to have a plugin to modify that menu. So in the near future, you could have the menu you want. That is, you can create a new panel and then you can go to the plugin to edit your menu and configure your new panel in the menu. So that's the roadmap we have.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Well, until that lands, the way that we can access dashboards that we've saved in here is essentially by clicking on them, right? I mean, if we want to see them, we just go on that screen that you're showing us right now and just simply click the Save Dashboard. Is that correct?
That's right. And if you want to share one of these dashboards, it is important to share this link that you will see. For instance, if I go to the new dashboard we have built for you for this demo, it is important to share let me check this link here.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's correct. Just you need to read the title because in the left-hand side you have the Save Dashboard. So you're saving the dashboard as it is saved. But if you want to share some modifications you have done in the dashboard, but you cannot or you don't want to save the new dashboard, just share a snapshot, then you have the link on the right-hand side. So if you forget how to do it, just click on share and read what is written there because it should be enough for you to understand what link you need to for your interest.
Right, but that's not different than sharing a link for the default dashboards, right? Or am I understanding something?
Yeah, it's the same for every dashboard in the platform.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so next is about the visualizations also. You can change the title also, and you can create your own visualizations either from scratch or either by editing a pre-existing one and just, if you create a new one, give it a new title and then click on this checkbox of save as a new visualization and you will have it, okay? And then how to add these new visualizations to your dashboard, you will click on this add button here.
You need to create a dashboard from scratch.
Okay, yes, that's better. Yes, we are creating a dashboard from scratch. That's a better idea. Thank you, Alberto. So I'm going to the dashboard menu here. I'm clicking on the add button, create new dashboard. And here we have an empty dashboard. Okay, so we can fill this empty dashboard by looking for the visualizations we have built, for instance, for this demo. Whoops. They all start with training 2. Okay, so for instance, we have the dot plot, which were not included in the other one. And then we can enlarge it Also, for instance, BMI, also main numbers and repos. Okay, and then I unfold this. Okay, so once we have added this, we can rearrange these widgets and basically place them as you wish. And once you have your desired view, you will click on save, right? Then you write the title, the description, and click on save. Also, if you check on this option, store time with dashboard, it will save you this time frame you have defined here in the top right corner, okay? Also, it will save any filters you may have applied here. For instance, if I filter by this value and I click on save, I will, oh, sorry. Oh, something is, okay, so the filter will be saved in the panel also, okay? Okay, about Elasticsearch, my workmate Alberto is going to continue here.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about the saving dashboard. If you don't want to save your new dashboard, you don't need to, because you can share the link or the sort link, and then as everything is stored in the URL in Kibana, you can work with that without the need of saving the dashboard if you don't want to. Just a quick note. And well, about Elasticsearch, just remind you that Elasticsearch is there behind the scenes. So all the indexes are available for you. You can directly query the indexes if you need it. You can use Python or whatever language you may want to perform queries or data processing. And to do that, there is a REST interface, a REST API. So you can directly use the API, or you can try to search for some modules that already exist for different languages. And about the next training session, the third one, is basically up to you. So if you are more interested in having a deeper look into the dashboard and particular use cases or more complex ways of building visualizations, we can set the session to do that. Or if you prefer something more related with Python scripting or something like that for querying the data, let's say, farther than Kibana editor, we can also do that. So it's up to you. We can discuss it in a GitLab ticket or whatever, or maybe you can have an internal discussion and just let us know. And well, the next slide is just a quick reminder about the documentation you have available about all the GMOLab library, and just links to the Elasticsearch guide and the Kibana user manual. And well, finally, just play with all the things you have in the editor. Don't be afraid of breaking things, because probably we have broken things before you, and we are there to help you if you need it. And if you always remind to check the save as new thing, then you are not going to break anything. So I don't know if Miguel Angel wants to say anything else.
Just a reminder that if you have any other question or any further question after exploring some things that we have told you here, that you can open any issues in your GitLab tracker or send us the questions, and we will help you with anything you may want about this session. These slides will be available in the same ticket that you created for the session, and we will upload it now. So that's, I think that's all from my side. I don't know if you have which questions you may have now.
No, this is great. Thank you. Go ahead, David. Sorry. Yep.
No worries, thanks, Ray. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for the presentation. That's opening quite a lot of possibilities for us. I mean, this is something that we really wanted to go into, as in creating our own personalized dashboards. I do have one question before we wrap up. It might be perhaps one that we might have to delve into on the next training session. But for now, I just wanted to ask you in the sense of whether this is possible or not. And this is related to created our own dashboards. So let me just quickly share my screen to tell you what we've been doing up until now and what we would like to do with the Bitergia dashboard as well. Just bear with me for a second. Just share. Just a second. Just trying to pick the right screen, but Zoom is not showing it to me. Oh, well, I'm trying to frantically find the button to do this. I'm just going to say that we're essentially looking at the number of merge requests per milestone. And these merge requests, we look at those coming from community members, I think members that do not necessarily work for GitLab. And finally, I've got it. Right. So what we generally do is to go to GitLab merges. We looked at MRs in the merge state from the wider community. We're looking at both repos, GitLab C and GitLab E, and then we look at a particular milestone, in this case, 11.5. And then, yeah, we look at just this one, our KPI, or our main KPI is the number of merge requests per milestone. What we had been doing before using the Bitergia dashboard was essentially to use the GitLab API to come up with this KPI, essentially looking at the latest milestones from the 11 series. Then from 11.1 to 11.6, we were looking at every single milestone, how many MRs we had. And essentially what we're looking at is this visualization, where the time series are the milestones themselves. Ideally, we would like to have one visualization that that is included in our main dashboard that has something similar to this. But I understand that this is these milestones, while are time related, it's not really a time series. So my question is, would we be able to build something like this with the Bitergia dashboard as in a personalized visualization?
Yes, I think it can be done, but we have to check how to do it, because the problem sometimes is when you are not using a date histogram, you are using a term filter in this case. The difficult part is the ordering, because sometimes the order of things is not the one you want. So I think it can be done, but if you can share with us the charts you want to build, we can try to work on this on a ticket in GitLab, or we can prepare them for the next session and we can cover them live with you, trying to build different visualizations. Maybe it is a good idea to have a wider set of visualizations you may be interested in, and preparing the session on top of that visualization.
Perfect.
But anyway, if you are in a hurry, you can feel uneasy with this and we can try to work with you as soon as possible in building this.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Cool. Yeah, I think there are definitely a couple of different dashboards that we want to play around with, and I'm sure you'll hear from us, and appreciate the time. And cool. Anything else, David or Remy, or like?
I think I'm good myself. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just unrelated to training, Miguel, now I just saw the issue update over the weekend on the time to merge question. So I guess you're continuing to look into that, but yeah, if you can, yeah, I didn't realize like we don't automatically close things when things are merged. So thanks for digging that out, David. But yeah, if we can that's another item that we're looking at pretty closely. So
I'm sorry, I can access my my Zoom options here. I don't know, they have disappeared from my interface, so I don't know if you are listening to me right now.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. Yes, about the merged add parameter we were mentioned. The development team is working on it. Is
Okay, great.
included, and once we have this, we can update the panels we have.
Okay.
You are currently having for GitLab. So hopefully this will be completed. So we missed that information. So sorry for the
No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much, and have a good afternoon or evening. So.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.